You're watching Oklahoma's News 4 at 6.
Grounded in Oklahoma tonight. The problem with U.S. Air Force training jets. What's keeping them on the ground at an Air Force base right here in the Sooner State? Thank you for joining us. I'm Linda Kavanaugh.
And I'm Kevin Ogle. The problem, a lack of oxygen. Right now at 6, more than 100 T-6 aircraft stopped from flying the skies. This is going to take us to Vance Air Force Base in Enid.
Tonight, News 4 Sarah Stewart is in Enid with the scare for those crews.
It is very rare to see this many T-6s sitting on the flight path here at Vance Air Force Base. On any given day, most of these are up in the air, but all of them, around 100, have been stuck on the ground since last Thursday, when several pilots experienced symptoms of oxygen deprivation.
This was more than normal, quite frankly, in this short of period. And so that's what kind of said, okay, we want to make sure that we take an assessment of what's going on at this point.
3 pilot instructors and 1 student pilot have experienced symptoms of what's called hypoxia since November 1st. It's basically getting less oxygen than you need, and symptoms can vary.
They're different for every person, quite frankly. So some common symptoms that can be like tingling in the fingers. Some people feel maybe cold or heat on their skin.
Colonel Daryl Judy says their pilots experienced disorientation. They wear these helmets, and the masks deliver their primary source of oxygen. But these planes also contain a backup.
It's basically an oxygen bottle that's in the ejection seat. It's part of that mechanism, and it's an independent oxygen system that they can utilize.
The pilots at Vance were able to use that backup oxygen and land the plane safely. An investigation is now ongoing.
Right now we've got our engineers, we have some maintenance folks, and we have some aerospace medicine folks looking at some of the aircraft systems, primarily the oxygen system, to make sure that we identify if there's any problems with the system.
The T-6 is the main training plane at Vance. Having them on the ground has put a pause in training schedules, but Colonel Judy says students are still learning.
Flying training is a piece of this, but there's also ground training that they're doing. There's also simulator training, and they're doing some professional development training.
There is no timeline right now on how long the investigation could take. In Enid, Sarah Stewart, Oklahoma's News 4.
Thank you, Sarah. And we do have a breaking news update on the state's budget shortfall. Governor Fallon announced a short time ago that she has signed several executive orders, while a date for a second special session still waits. She's calling for the consolidation of administrative costs of both school districts and higher education. A third calls for agencies to stop spending tax dollars on promotional or swag items. Those announcements came after the governor vetoed most of a budget bill late last week. But state health agencies are being provided short-term funding till a long-term solution can hopefully be found in yet another special session in the coming weeks.
That's why we got to finish our job and do it now. And
so you feel this is the last opportunity, entrenchment or not, by?
There are those that are mad, and there are those who are dug in, there are those who will say, I'm not going to do anything. They can say all that stuff. And if I veto something, they can override me. It takes 2/3 vote.
Fallon says she will announce the dates of the second special session next week. And more details at 6, a big break. No cuts for now to DHS programs. It's good news for some of Oklahoma's most vulnerable. Service programs were preparing to shut down as the Department of Human Services braced for an additional hit to their budget. But for now, programs like Advantage Waiver and adult daycare services are safe. DHS says despite the governor's veto on the budget bill, their short-term funding was spared. It's saving the agency from losing about $26 million. So for now, at least, those services are safe beyond December 1st, although the agency will have to find help somewhere. Tonight, they're still about $42 million short of a balanced budget.
And on Crime Watch, caught on surveillance. Thieves targeting a construction site, taking off with a tractor and trailer. Tonight, the owner's big reward to find his missing equipment. Right now at 6, the man's rush to track down his livelihood. News 4's Kelsey Gibbs is live tonight. And Kelsey, this guy's doing a lot of his own detective work, it sounds like.
That's right, Kevin. Randy Kimple, he has surveillance footage. He has photos of tire tracks and footprints, and he's hoping that, along with a $20,000 reward, can help him get his stolen John Deere tractor and trailer back.
It's something that I have to do my job.
That something is his John Deere tractor. Randy Kimball says he uses it just for about anything and everything, but Friday he noticed the tractor was not there, along with the trailer.
I guess it was Friday morning. My guys actually beat me to the job site, and he thought maybe I came and got the tractor without saying anything to them. But he texted me and he asked me if I came and got it, and I said no. I thought he was joking with me at first.
But it was no joke. Both the tractor and trailer were gone. Kimball saw it all on surveillance.
We did have a couple images of it, and we could tell it was a maroon pickup. And it pulled by, and it made a couple laps kind of scoping it out. And then he finally went in, and he was there about an hour trying to get the tractor unlocked, broke into it, and had to move the tractor to hook on the trailer.
Tire marks and footprints, the only two things left here in the Weatherford field where the tractor and trailer once sat. Kimball's family posted the photos to social media to try to capture the thieves and get their property back.
If I was to buy it new, it'd be between $60,000 and $70,000.
A price he hopes he doesn't have to pay, so he has a message for the alleged thieves.
I think they probably work so hard at what they're doing to avoid work that it'd be easier if they just worked and didn't make it harder on the people that are trying to do that.
Now, Weatherford police believe that the alleged thief in this case may be connected to another crime in the same area of a stolen trailer. So police are asking anyone with information, of course, to give them a call. Reporting live in Weatherford, Kelsey Gibbs, Oklahoma's News 4.
Now, first weather from the Forewarned Storm Team.
Kelsey's got the right idea. She's got that cap on. Weatherford right now, 51 degrees. Sun went down almost an hour ago. Temperature's doing a nice job at trailing on off. Let's take a look at Oklahoma readings right now. This is as of 6 o'clock. And you can see the trend here. You knew it with that northerly wind that kicked in this afternoon, and it was really windy in parts of our state. It's in the 40s, mid-40s in northern Oklahoma now. Still some mid and a few upper 50s in the southern parts of our state. But the northerly wind continues to bring down chillier temperatures, and those temperatures continue to trail on off with clear skies. The infrared satellite imagery, see the shades of gray here getting brighter, shows those temperatures are getting colder as that northerly wind keeps kicking in with that high pressure up there in Nebraska. This means dropping temperatures tonight. Outdoors this evening, you want a good heavy jacket, maybe even a cap. Temperatures will be in the low 40s, a few mid 40s at 10 o'clock, and in northern Oklahoma by 10, even in the 30s. So Linda and Kevin, how low we go and a frosty start, and also look forward to that holiday forecast coming up.
Thank you, Mike. Well, it's Tuesday, so it's a time for a place to call home.
And this week, we're going to introduce you to Chris. He's a sharp 10-year-old searching for a family.
And tonight, we want to know, can you help? Join NBC Oklahoma and News 4's Lacey Lett for a trip to TG Farms in Newcastle.
Little Chris is quite energetic, but at the same time knows how to be patient. We went to TG Farms, where this 10-year-old got to race around and enjoy all of the fun activities.
Meet Chris. He's 10 and lives in a foster home.
What do you like to do for fun?
I like to play for fun. I like to play The Legend of Zelda.
Oh, cool. This little man is ready for any adventure that comes his way, like this hay bale maze.
It's one of these ways.
During our walk through the maze, we also learned Chris is a bit of a trivia buff.
Do you know what the most popular costume is?
Frozen.
No, it isn't.
What?
It's the inflatable dinosaur costume.
He's pretty resourceful, too, climbing on hay bales to see the best way out.
Yeah, ninja!
We had a blast at TG Farms in Newcastle. It was this kiddo's first adventure here. We climbed and climbed to slide right down. He asked questions along the way.
What's your favorite animal?
Cat.
A cat?
Cat and a giraffe. What about you?
My favorite is a wolf and baby pig.
We sat down with Chris to find out about some of his other favorite things, like favorite subject in school.
My favorite subjects are lunch.
More specifically,
Pizza. This
10-year-old is still thinking about what he wants to be when he grows up, but he may have a new idea after our time together.
Photojournalist.
Why do you want to be a photojournalist now?
Because that thing looks awesome.
For now, this little boy's future remains unclear. He's been in DHS custody since he was 6 years old.
I want to be adopted so I can have a family.
Why is that important to you?
Family is always important.
He doesn't know how many times he's moved around, but he knows it's been a lot. Right now he's at a foster home, but that could change at any moment. Chris would just like to settle down with a family to call his own, especially one that likes to travel to one of his dream destinations.
A vacation on Hawaii. On an adventure in our woods.
A fun-loving, sweet child hoping for a place to call home. Lacey Lett, Oklahoma's News 4.
And if you'd like more information on adopting Chris, just give DHS a call at the number there on your screen. We also have more information at KFOR.com. And you can help foster children this holiday season by participating in the Oklahoma Foster Wishes program. Go to KFOR.com/wishes. Well, deer versus driver, has it happened to you?
Oh, well, I tell you what, it happened to one person we know in a close call for this Oklahoman.
It's breeding season. You know, the does are in season and the bucks are out chasing them and looking for girlfriends. So,
Deer danger, the big hazard on Oklahoma roads. The warning to all of us from the Wildlife Department.
You're watching Oklahoma's News 4 at 6 with Linda Cavanaugh, Kevin Ogle, Mike Morgan, and Brian Brinkley. Oklahoma's News 4, looking out for you.
Welcome back. New tonight, staying safe while heading to your Thanksgiving destination.
There's a big hazard out there right now that you probably wouldn't think about until too late. Deer on the road. Game wardens warn that motorists could have potential dangers in front of them.
If you let your guard down for half a second, they can appear.
Well, that driver knows for certain a buck ran right into his car. Collision course. News 4's Ian Smith is live tonight with that story.
And Ian, this man says really he's lucky to be alive.
Oh, Linda and Kevin, that is very much the case. The whole front end of his car was just torn off by this collision. But you know what? We're going into the holidays right now, and experts say this is prime deer season all the way through early spring, and more collisions are likely.
This right here is the front bumper, and this is, hey, sit down. This is where the impact occurred right here, you can see.
Wow. What was the front portion of his truck is now in his truck bed. It was just before dawn and Brantley Sober was on his way to work. It happened in the blink of an eye.
Came around a bend, there's two does in the middle of the road, and then a buck chasing him jumped right out in front of me.
The impact shattering the front end of his pickup.
The deer was crossing from right to left and hit right here on the passenger side of the front. Its antlers raked across the hood there and tore out part of the grill.
With the colder weather, 'tis the season for Thanksgiving and Christmas and deer. It comes down to the birds and the bees.
it's breeding season. You know, the does are in season and the bucks are out chasing them and looking for girlfriends.
But what do you do if you're on a collision course with a deer?
If I can't get stopped in time to hit them, I'm just going to hit them.
Game warden Wade Farrar says trying anything beyond that could put you in more danger.
If you can't avoid the collision by stopping, if you start to swerve, especially if you're braking and turning at the same time, you have a lot more, you're a lot more likely to lose control.
The most common time to encounter deer is from dusk until dawn, and often there is no time to react.
I was going, 65 miles an hour, and but you've got like just a split second.
Now, deer aren't just a problem on the rural roads, they're also a problem right here on metro freeways. For now, we are live in North Oklahoma City. Ian Smith, Oklahoma's News 4.
Now, forewarned weather with Mike Morgan.
We are chilling down outside. You notice the cloud cover today, how it kind of was chased out around 1 o'clock this afternoon. That was the cold front coming through. Our temperatures, though, still managed to make about average, so really not too bad. Our morning low temperature was 38 and 61 degrees, our daytime high. The normal high, if there's such a thing in Oklahoma as normal, right, is 59 degrees. Temperatures, well, lots of 40s now, lots of mid-40s in northern Oklahoma and some mid-50s and a couple of lingering upper 50s currently in southern Oklahoma. But it's the northerly wind that really kicked in behind that front that we had some 35 and 40 mile an hour wind gusts in western Oklahoma today. That's doing a nice job at really chilling things down. These are the live wind gusts currently, and it's still pretty breezy out there, and there's a bit of a wind chill factor developing in much of northern Oklahoma and even right here in central Oklahoma. But the winds will continue to slowly diminish heading throughout the evening, but do take a good heavy jacket if you're going to spend some time outside. You see the shade of gray there gradually getting brighter. That's the infrared satellite imagery detecting that this is a fairly cold air mass now building in from the northern plains. You can see how it goes from various shades of bright gray down to less gray. That's the core of the cold air where that bright gray is. But the high pressure center is draining nicely now down into Oklahoma. That was the northerly wind that we had kicking in this afternoon. And tomorrow morning, that'll be settling in right over northern Oklahoma. It'll make a nice trek across our state during the daylight hours tomorrow. So for Wednesday, you can expect much less wind. Okay, let's talk a little synoptic meteorology here. This is the jet stream pattern, and this has been a very stable pattern for the month of October and November, and it's a trough or dip, ridge or hump in the airflow, trough weather pattern. Trough, ridge, trough. This trough off the west coast is quite strong. This ridge here is very strong for this time of year. And you know what that does? Does a great job at blocking. Look how this system right here hardly moves. It's a huge roadblock in the atmosphere. It keeps these Pacific systems from even making it near Oklahoma. They've got to go up and over the long way around the ridge of high pressure into this weak trough. And by that time, there's no moisture left for that system to work with, and we get no moisture here in Oklahoma. We're going to have the tie for the 10th driest November on record. Probably no more moisture for the rest of the month. But tonight it'll be cold. It'll be clear. High pressure builds right into northern Oklahoma, and then it treks across slowly our state tomorrow. Underneath that big blue H, we'll have brilliant blue skies and light winds. It'll be a chilly day tomorrow after a cold start. This evening, upper 30s to low and mid 40s at 10, mid 30s in northern Oklahoma at 10 o'clock, so a good heavy jacket or a coat. And overnight low temperatures, I'm going to drop it down to 27 here in Oklahoma City with a light north wind, crystal clear sky, hard freeze in the morning, and metro lows will be from 23 to 28 depending on where you live. So most folks will have a hard freeze, and low to mid 20s for everybody in northern Oklahoma tonight. Upper 20s and low 30s in the southern parts of our state, but a bright, beautiful day tomorrow. 49 degrees for a daytime high with a light and variable wind, and metro highs will be in the upper 40s to lower 50s for tomorrow, and statewide highs will be in the mid 40s to mid 50s. Mildest weather in western Oklahoma, and there's Thanksgiving. What a gorgeous day. Mostly sunny skies, mid 60s here in Oklahoma City, and even some 70s in western Oklahoma. So for families traveling in and around and out of our state, beautiful weather Thursday, Friday into the upcoming weekend. A windy 74 for Friday, and holiday shopping looks good as well. The weekend highs in the mid 60s. The wind chill factor, gang, is more affected by a north wind, a south wind, or it makes no difference what the direction is.
This is a trick question.
It is a trick question, but you weren't tricked. You were not tricked. It makes no difference. The wind direction makes no difference.
Well, some of us were, because you always say the wind from Wichita is colder than the wind from Dallas.
Well, when the wind... That's a long story.
We'll
talk more about that later.
Right. You've got all kinds of things in
Oh boy, it has been a busy week, and now week 13 of college football. The playoff committee just released its new poll. Let's take a look at what we got. Of course, Bama staying up at number 1, 11-0, but there you have it. The Sooners at number 4, Miami 2, Clemson 3, Oklahoma State making a big drop after their loss to Kansas State, all the way down to number 19. All right, well, Baker Mayfield may not get his start on senior day, but it doesn't look like that will have too big of an impact on his standing in the Heisman race. Now, Bovada has pulled its Heisman odds for Baker because guess what? He's too big of a favorite. But the Big 12 Conference isn't concerned with that. Today, the league announced a public reprimand of Baker for his sideline crotch grab against Kansas. Big 12 Commissioner Bob Bowlesby saying, quote, Mr. Mayfield's actions are unacceptable and should not be tolerated. He then went on to compliment Mayfield for his competitive nature, but also went on to say, however, the behavior he exhibited on the sideline during the Oklahoma-Kansas game was inappropriate and contrary to our sportsmanship policies. But also reprimanded were the Kansas team captains. Yeah, remember when they didn't shake Mayfield's hand in the pregame coin toss? That was dirty. Well, earlier today, Coach Beatty also stripped his 4 players of their captaincy, as well as handling the punishment of the player with the late hit on Mayfield. But as far as Baker goes, he knows his actions are under a microscope.
I mean, I noticed the magnitude of it, but I think it's also, today's day and age, the social media, there's cameras everywhere, so everything gets recorded or captured. And so it's been more so this year, but I think that's also because of, the society and how it works and how news is spread very quickly. So, I'm aware of how fast things can spread and how the magnitude of my decisions directly affect not only me, but the others directly around me.
We'll be right back after this break. The Cowboys basketball team looking to bounce back in Brooklyn after their first loss of the season last night. Let's check out some highlights from the afternoon. Jeffrey Carroll coming off the bench, but he'd have a better game overall. That Cowboys D leading to the bucket. Oklahoma State goes on to win against Pitt in the consolation game. Final score 73-67.
All right, there we go. And we got more coming up here at 6:30, so stay with us.